Welcome, Taurus. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your new moon in Capricorn reading. The new moon's on the 18th of the month and is about 10 days ahead of Neptune and then Saturn moving into 0 degrees Aries. So both planets are at the last degree of Pisces right now. And their movement late January, mid-February heralds a new global reset. This is also a time when Uranus will be moving direct in Gemini, so that's releasing some of the positive power around Pluto's technological growth and explosion, ways in which we are finding new ways of communicating and sharing information across the globe. This is having an impact on your house of the superconscious. This is your imagination. This is your spiritual elevation, your interest in higher education, learning more about the diversity of the world we live in. The Warrior of Cups is your overall energy, and this is really about this exploration of your heart at a global level. And that's where the interest in the diversity of cultural information and knowledge, different ways of doing things in different communities, different parts of the world, becomes an area of vast interest and engagement for you. You may be taking classes, you may be learning new skills, particularly language skills is coming up for some of you, but any way that you are learning to understand and interpret the world in new ways through the gaining of more information, the ways that you are finding to share information, publishing something, making presentations about something to a variety of new communities or audiences are all in your purview right now. From the Soul's Journey, I chose, or what chose you was the Imagination card. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. This is pretty direct. This really is following with a very clear thematic line from your opening here, where you are allowing yourself to be unleashed from the past, the way that you've always done things. That is of less interest to you now. You're ready to start some new adventures, to think of yourself and your abilities in new ways, and to make those connections to new people, new activities. I pulled from the Egyptian Sacred Animals Oracle, the hippopotamus, and I'm going to read to you from the guidebook what that describes. The hippopotamus. The key words are chaos and opposition. A symbol of chaos and destruction, the hippopotamus is associated with the goddess Taweret, protector of pregnant women and childbirth. This figure embodies the forces of disorder and fertility during the Nile floods, which were essential for ancient Egyptian agriculture. The floods bring rich sediments and silt that settle on the fields, making the soil fertile for crops. Do not fear chaos. Just as the Nile floods bring fertility, look for opportunities that enrich your life. Nurturing ideas with new knowledge will bring you abundance. Be forward-thinking and resilient, preparing yourself for difficulties by accumulating resources and inner strength. Just as the Nile floods ended drought, embrace the balance between order and chaos, as both forces are necessary for a harmonious life. This is lovely. And as your ruling planet, Taurus, is the planet of Venus, Taweret is actually presiding over areas of your comfort, knowledge, and power, childbirth, pregnancy, fertility in general. In the 10th house, the house of your social position, the way others see you, the Servant of Cups. So here we have the Warrior, the Knight of Cups. Here we have the Page of Cups. And this is really about the opening of your heart, the acceptance of yourself as a human being that is continuing to learn, continuing to grow. Perhaps you're revisiting experiences from your youth or in your path where you felt some constriction or limitation of your heart. Perhaps you felt a sense of being unwanted or uncared for or neglected. And perhaps you're opening up to that experience with new information, a new curiosity, a new way of checking into that so that you are empowered about the reality about what you experienced and what that meant for your life moving forward. This is certainly fueling your desire to be imaginative and think of those experiences in a new way. In the first house, the 10 of Cups, Sagittarius had the same placement. The 10 of Cups is about the world that you are creating every day with your actions and your attitudes. This is an alternative to a traditional community. This is a family and a community that values care, attention, providing protection and safety, taking and sharing what they have together to amplify that, to provide a sense of abundance and security among the ability to willingly cooperate together. So the 10 of Cups indicates to me, the 10, that this is an alternative to what you have experienced in your own life, perhaps, and also in the world at large. You are in some way a harbinger of a new kind of family or community system that is inclusive rather than exclusive. In the fourth house, the house of your home, your family, and your foundation, the Four of Swords, is beautiful energy around the way that you're finding gratitude for having overcome numerous challenging and, in some cases, quite devastating obstacles. The Four of Swords is understanding a pattern in your life that most likely was established or conditioned in your childhood or family of origin, in which you felt that you didn't understand how love or relationships worked. You felt somehow a pattern of transactional love. In other words, in order to get something, you had to perform love or be a certain way or do certain things. It wasn't okay to be who you were, have needs, and receive attention and support on that basis. You're understanding that that pattern has affected you throughout your life and that you are now in a position to understand the benefits of that, that overcoming those obstacles, not experiencing them, but overcoming them, has made you stronger, has helped you to understand what you do want in relationships, what you do want for yourself, and in that way, how you have come to shape your behavior based on what you know supports you, what you know loves you back. And so that gratitude comes as a result of saying, I know these things about me and my needs because of being deprived of them in some way. In the seventh house of significant others, we have the Nine of Jades or the Nine of Pentacles. This is about independence, and it's interesting that I believe Leo got a very similar message. This is about the freedom in being independent, the freedom to choose what's best for you, to follow your own path, to follow your own muse, your own talent or gift, as a result of not having to compromise your values. standing clear in your truth, and operating from a place of understanding that whether you are in a relationship or not, you make decisions based on what is right for you. In a positive, healthy relationship, both members honor that freedom and negotiate the consequences of that with one another so that mutual support is provided. I do this for you, you do this for me. The mutual support is what's key, the reciprocal care and willingness to stand on principle, on your truth, to not be compromised by the needs of others. And this may be coming up for you because you have done a fair amount of sacrificing or compromising your needs for the needs of others. And now it is your time to pursue the interests, the goals, and the values that are most important to who you are. If this reading is resonating for you, Taurus, please like this video, share it with others if you feel inclined to do so, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I appreciate your presence here and always. So I'm going to clarify, starting with the first house. The Ten of Cups is the Nine of Wands, the Four of Swords, and the fourth house is clarified by the Six of Cups and the Nine of Jades, and the seventh house by the Ace of Wands, and the Servant of Cups, the Page of Cups, is clarified by the Two of Wands. It seems like you've got some choices to make here. In the first house, the Ten of Wands is clarified by the Nine of Wands. Here you are working, throwing your whole self into creating the community that supports you, that shares with you, that cooperates with one another, and that you partake in. This can be a literal family unit that represents this way of including difference. This can also be a way that you have worked tirelessly to create that environment in your home, in your community, at your work. But it's an environment that you contribute to each and every day. And you put your whole self in it because you believe in its existence, in its reality, in its benefits in the long term. And the belief that if the world were more like this unit, this group, this community, it would be a better world. It would be a more inclusive world. You are determined to live your life in this fashion. You are not defined by others, the greed or the lack of consideration of others. You insist upon inclusion and the sharing of resources. You're determined. In the fourth house, the Four of Swords is clarified by the Six of Cups. Yeah, there is a relationship perhaps from your past, your family, a good friend, someone who is reconnecting with you. It can be an experience as well in which you are recognizing and recentering yourself in the joy of the experiences of the past. Some moment of friendship, of playfulness, of the joy in being who you are at a time when you had no agendas, you had no expectations except to play, create, and be in the present moment of your gifts. How much joy that gave to others, how much you enjoyed that. It's part of recognizing the patterns that you perhaps do no longer recognize, that they no longer serve you. However, this was at the core of that, some great talent or gift that you had that you are now in a position to exercise more fully with greater awareness of the power of that presence. In the seventh house, The Nine of Jades is clarified by the Ace of Wands. So here your independence is leading you in a new direction. It's one that you have not traveled before. You have not given yourself to in the way that you now are focused on. This is a revitalization of this gift, this talent that you have. And you are newly inspired by the various alternatives and knowledge of your responsibilities. Having a gift to those whom much is given, much is asked, or something like that. If you know that, I'd appreciate you quoting that in the comments to me. But in other words, when you're given as much privilege, gifts, talents that you've been given, you have a responsibility as you become increasingly aware, for many of you, because you sacrificed that talent in order to provide for or do whatever you felt was necessary to do. And now there's an opportunity for that talent to reemerge, to be re-inspired in a new direction that can contribute to something. In the 10th house, the servant or the Page of Cups is clarified by the Two of Wands. Yeah, I can see where you are feeling that you have to plan this new effort because it represents a divergence from the way that you have lived your life to date. And so you know what you can do, you know what you have done, you know your expertise, but you're willing to grow this new muscle. You're looking for a challenge. Your life has been pretty steady, constant, and yet you recognize that you really are chomping at the bit for something new, a new opportunity, new ways to see the world and to be in it. I'm going to finish this reading, Taurus, with a crystal oracle and hope that this has been insightful for you. And I have pulled there's two here. Let me take the one on top, the Divine Temple Crystal. And the key word is source. I'm deeply connected to and an expression of the divine source of the universe. Thank you so much, Taurus, for this beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.